Welcome everyone to the Women Racing to Win. Very exciting show today. We're going to recap this past weekend, including Aaron Vogel, Fabienne, and all the women racing in the NASCAR Truck Series. Plus, we also have a special guest joining us. With me, Daniel from Racers, the Girls Behind the Helmet. I'm Joe San Diego. Encourage everyone to participate in the chat room, especially share your questions with our next special guest. Daniel, may you introduce to our distinguished guest, our special guest for today's show.
Hello, everyone. Good evening if you are in Europe, and good morning if you're in the US from the other side of the pond. I'm very, very glad to be welcoming tonight with us Gabriela Jilkova, who is a very interesting GT4 racer. Here she is popping up on the screen. Hi, Gabi.
Hi, everyone. Wish you a good evening or good morning. Depends where you are.
Thank you very much for joining us today. It's really a pleasure to having you with us, especially after your race last week was one of the biggest stories in motorsport. Of course, you won the GT Winter Series Championship. Tell us a little bit about that and about your career.
So the GT Winter Series was actually a series to prepare ourselves with my teammate Robert Haupt for upcoming races. Which will be also in GT4, of course. And the GT Winter Series was like 3 race weekends. We had 2 races in Portimao, and the last one was in Aragon. And thank you for showing nice pictures. And and in the last weekend, we make it happen, and we became the champions. So really, really happy about that.
Definitely. I think your races, you proved that you definitely belong also on the real racetrack and not only in on iRacing. I mean, it was really impressive to see you navigating through the races and doing very well also in among the GT3 cars and in that field, very, very competitive. Tell us a little bit more how the deal with such an historic team like Zaxby's Racing came up.
So it started actually all with an email for asking if it would be possible to drive in their team. And then we make a meeting and was discussed what will be the possibilities to do in the next season. So that was actually now this season, 2021. And from the early beginning, we knew that we will do racing with Robert together. And we were looking for the teams, and the team Zaxby's was like, let's try it. Let's start with this winter series to also prepare yourself, and we also can see like if you're good or not, if we can continue. And I think that we show that we are pretty fast, and so being in such an incredible team, like with such a great history, it's incredible. Like when you go to their factory, that's like a fairy tale. Like, to be honest, really, really cool, and we're really happy to be in this team.
Oh, definitely. And also, we say hi to your teammate that I think he's following us because I've seen a comment from him popping up on the screen, and obviously
he's actually lying. Like he's sitting on the couch front of my PC.
Okay, so that's fair enough. Props to him as well because of course he also won the championship, and we can see the trophies right behind you. And of course, you did very, very well in this winter series, as you said, and you are a pretty famous, I would say, sim racer in making your debut. I think 2 years ago. So not a long time that you are racing in also on sim racing. Tell us a little bit more about that. How was? Of course, you had real racing background before that, I think. But yeah, coming into the sim racing, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sim racing started like that because I didn't have like any sponsors to pay my real racing career, let's say. So I was like, I definitely miss racing so much, and so I started to do at least racing in a simulator, and yeah, I started with iRacing, started to do a couple of races there, and yeah, I like it. Like, of course, real racing is always real racing, but sim racing is something a little bit, let's say, closer. And yeah, I started to stream on Twitch. I think it's now like more than 1 year ago. I actually started to continue with Twitch, not on the sim that much now, because I stuck here in Germany because I cannot go back to Czech. But on the other side, I'm trying to do the in real life streams from the car, from our GT4 car, which is something special, and I never see someone before to do that as much as we do. So we were streaming like the whole days from the early morning till the evening. So the whole practice sessions and also the races. And yeah, I think that people like it. I get so many messages that it's really awesome.
It was very awesome. I know it was really cool seeing on Twitch a full physical race car there, lap after lap, all the sessions. And you talked about that has over 9,000 views on Twitch. Is this something where you see? I know this one of the first. You're one of the first drivers I ever seen do this. Was this just something where it's like, hey, this will be fun to do? And is this something we could see a lot more in the future, especially more races?
Yeah, like I will definitely try to continue with that. Of course, in some series, it's allowed to do that. On some, I'm still discussing like if it will be possible or not. I'm trying to do my best to make it happen, of course. But yeah, if there would be like any test days or something, I know I can stream this, so I will definitely continue into that. With the races, might be a little bit difficult now, but let's see. I'm really trying to do my best.
And we do have a question from the chat room. Gabby, what tracks do you personally find the most challenging and why?
So the most challenging is definitely Nürburgring, the Nordschleife. So yeah, it's world known that it's one of the hardest track, and of course one of my favorite. Challenging because there's no place for a mistake. Actually, if you do one small mistake, you will crash the car. So that's the reason why it's the most challenging, and on the other side, also my favorite one.
Now, of course, you race all across Europe. We've seen you visited Watkins Glen in New York as a site currently for NASCAR Cup Series, and Formula One used to race, of course, the United States Grand Prix there. Have you considered or looked at opportunities to race in the United States?
Yeah, actually now I'm waiting in Germany for my visa, for my athletic visa to come to US and do some races there. But yeah, I'm already waiting more than 2 weeks and still don't get it. So don't know if it will happen or not, but it's something definitely on a plan which we want to do. Yeah, Watkins Glen, I was racing there with Praga R1, which is like, let's see, like something slower than LMP3 car. So yeah, maybe some more races in the US in the future, but now with traveling, it's everything more complicated, and yeah, let's see if I can get there or not.
That'll be very exciting to see you racing here in the United States. Now, of course, this month is Women's History Month, celebrating women's accomplishments. We have, of course, been recognizing women in motorsports past, present, and future influence. What words of encouragement would you have on girls dreaming about being a race car driver in the future?
It's a hard way. It's a hard way to get all through to it. But definitely one thing is important, and that's build the respect on the track, and that someone is not behave with you like with a girl, let's say, that it's all equal, and yeah, this is something which is, I think, most important to to show your strength and this, yeah. But it's so many things to say, but in the other hand, I think there's not really that many things which are different compare girls and boys. I would say it's hard for
Yeah, of course, as you said, the coming into sim racing, because of course motor racing is a hugely demanding sport also on the financial side. Do you think that maybe we are starting to see this a little bit more now with drivers starting out in esports and then trying the switch into real cars? Do you think that this also could be a new way forward for the future?
Yeah, like also nowadays, or in the history, there are a couple of drivers which started with sim racing, and now they are real drivers, and they are pretty good. So I think, of course, it's a way how to do it, and but there are also like many drivers in esports, so it's really hard to be on a top level in sim racing, and okay, I don't spend like so many hours on a sim as the professional sim racers do, of course. But like every time when I sit on a sim and compare my lap times like to real life, I'm still slower on a simulator than in real life. So of course it's not that big difference, but it's of course not the same. It's still a simulator because it's trying to simulate something. So it's definitely not the same, and it does mean that when real racing driver sits into the sim and he's slow, it doesn't mean that in real life he's slow. And the same is when a pro racing driver, a pro sim racer sits into real car, it doesn't mean that he's going to be fast in real car. So but I think there's definitely opportunity for these guys, and yeah, as I said, like also in the history, there were sim races and there are now real races and they are fast. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great point you bring out there. Also, we've seen you doing the W Series selection tests at the end of 2019 at Almeria. You you drove the here it is the Formula 3 Tattoos car. How was that experience for you?
Was a great experience. Like to be honest, it was one of the best car I have ever driven. So the experience was great. I was also like I would say in one of the fastest, like maybe top 3, top 5, all of them. But they didn't select me. To be honest, I don't know why. But I definitely show my skills and speed. But yeah, sometimes just this is not enough. So yeah, but it was definitely a great experience.
Also, you entered the W Series Esports League, a couple of races at least, and you managed to win a race there. How was that?
Yeah, it was cool. Like the race was on Nürburgring on the Nordschleife, was one of my favorite tracks, or favorite track. So yeah, but it was also hard to drive F3 car on this track, so like really bumpy track. But I definitely enjoyed that. It was fun, and yeah, we all had fun. All girls had fun. So I did a couple of races there, and yeah, was great. And the winning was top, of course. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gabi, I would like to ask you one question before we go into the chat room. That I'm seeing a lot of questions coming in for you. Also, I think I've read you won the Eliska Jilkova Award, which is pretty a big deal in your country. She was a very famous female driver from the early days of motor racing. Tell us what that achievement represents for you, and if there is some kind of a movement starting in your country for female racers.
So this trophy is like really special to me because in English side, like Elizabeth Junek was in the history like one of the best women, definitely from Czech Republic, but also like worldwide well known. So yeah, I get 5 of these trophies. So yeah, really glad for that. And yeah, it also brings maybe a little bit more opportunities and to get these trophies. But I don't know if it really gives you like some more opportunity to get, for example, like sponsors or something. That is a trophy which is known in Czech, but not really in other countries.
I think we covered also the story about Jilkova being on the Google Doodle page in many countries a couple of months ago. So hopefully that will bring some more attention to definitely a very important name in the history of motor racing and for women in the sport. Let's go to see a couple of questions from the chat room here. Let's see. Is there any chance we will see you running a hybrid or full electric race car in the future?
It's not on the plan, but you never know. Definitely now I'm gonna stay in GT4s. So yeah, there's nothing I plan with the electronic cars yet.
One more question here. Once you get to the US, do you look forward running, and obviously across that you get to the US?
Once you get to US, which tracks do you? We should go to Palm Beach, Homestead. Is it right, Robert? Homestead, Palm Beach.
Palm Beach Raceway.
Palm Beach Raceway. It's called the track. So we should do some races here and some practice, and yeah.
Awesome. And let's see, you got one race to run again. Which of your prior races would you like to run again, and what would you do differently? That's another question that came up into the chat room, which interestingly, I think.
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Which I would do differently. Like there are, of course, like some races where you do some mistakes, and you know you could do better, but don't know now, to be honest. Any specific race? Yeah, you always learn from your mistakes, but yeah, don't know now, to be honest.
Yeah, well, actually, this year you did very, very well. So hopefully it's not one of the races from this year, because I don't think that you did many mistakes this year. Well, at least in the first part of this year in the GT Winter Series Championship. And maybe you will not reply to this question, but I'll try to ask you anyway if you can say anything about your next plans in GT4.
Yeah, you were right, unfortunately. No, I can't yet. But we will do the announcement around like 10 days, so not far ahead. You will all know what are the plans. But I can say that we will stay with the Team Zach Speed, and but you have to wait for the series. We will drive.
Well, fair enough, and fingers crossed that we can see you very soon back on track. Joe, if you have any more questions for Gabi?
No additional questions from the chat room, but definitely, Gabi, thank you so much for your time here on our program. We encourage all our viewers to follow Gabi on Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter, all under the username QuickGabi, and especially Twitch. Her laps around the track, really fun to watch. You put in the laps, lap after lap in the race car. Very exciting. Gabi, thank you so much for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Definitely, of course, we want to remind everyone to be sure to follow.
Bye.
Definitely want to encourage everyone to be sure to follow Gabi online. Very exciting to have her on the program today. And of course, we still have more women that are racing this past weekend, including in the NASCAR Camper World Truck Series. 2 women were racing there, Jennifer Jo Cobb and Hailie Deegan. Both Jennifer Jo Cobb and Hailie Deegan started towards the back. NASCAR doesn't have any qualifying because of the pandemic, so they go based off the prior race finishes, as well as a couple other factors such as fastest lap and points standing. So both of them starting towards the back in the 30s, and we saw both of them have rough races in the Buckle Up 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The 2 of them, Jennifer Jo Cobb, started 34th, climbed up to 29th, finishing 4 laps behind the leader and the eventual race winner of the race. Now, Hailie Deegan, she started 30th and finished 28th, 4 laps down behind the leader as well. Deegan was caught up in the lap 98 crash. I saw 7 trucks involved. She was able to continue after making repairs under the 6-minute repair clock that NASCAR has in place, but she was still off the pace for the rest of the night. They are all off this weekend. The Truck Series will not be racing this weekend, but they will return back on March 20th at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So definitely we're going to be following them once they come back. And we want to thank everyone in the chat room for participating in the chat room with Gabi. We know, really fun. And of course, everyone showing their support of who their favorite racing driver are. We're going to talk to another driver that was in W Series, Fabienne, and her big weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It was probably the biggest story, together with Gabriela's victory in the GTU Winter Series last week. Fabienne Wohlwend, the racing driver from Liechtenstein, as you said, Joe, she entered also the inaugural season of the W Series in 2019. Here she is. You can also follow her on her Twitter, Instagram, and social media profiles. Fabienne is very competitive driver also in GT cars, not only in the all-female Formula 3 championship of the W Series. She has a lot of experience in the Ferrari Challenge Trophy. She's racing in the Pirelli Trophy, which is the pro level series of the Ferrari Challenge. Of course, it was a little bit of a troubled season for the Pirelli, for the Ferrari Challenge this year. Of course, for the pandemic, for all the logistic challenges. They had to reschedule the Finale Mondiali, which is the World Finals, the Ferrari World Finals that every year unites all the teams from the European series, the American series, and also the Asian series. Of course, this year proved to be a little bit more challenging for all the teams and the drivers to fly over to Misano in Italy, where the Finale Mondiali were scheduled to be held. There were some teams from the US that managed to come to Misano. We all obviously had all the teams and the drivers from the European series, while we missed the teams from the Asian Championship that took a year off in 2020. So the Finale Mondiali went underway in Misano with Fabienne Wohlwend racing in the pro category, while there were 3 more races racing in the Shell Cup, which is like the AM level in the Ferrari Challenge. There were Corinna Gossner, who is the sister of Manuela Gossner, the racer that will be racing in the WEC with the Iron Dames project. Also Lisa Clark from the US series, and Eileen Bildman also from the US series. They were racing. They did pretty well. Were kind of in the midfield in the Shell Cup. But of course, the big story was Fabienne doing very well in the Pirelli Cup. She did win the first race of the weekend on Friday, which was ironically the first victory for her this season. She had been battling out for the title in the European series with Tabacchi. Emanuele Maria Tabacchi in the other entry for Rosso Corsa. And Fabienne unfortunately came in second place because she had missed a couple of rounds due to technical troubles at Spa-Francorchamps, namely. And in Misano, she was faster straight away. I think she has some kind of a special relationship with that track, because she also had her first and so far only pole position in W Series, and also claimed the first podium in the Italian race there in 2019. So definitely has something going on here in Misano for Fabienne. She won the first race, and she came third in the second race, which closed the European series. It was still counting for the point standings for the 2020 championship. And then they hold all the teams and drivers reunited for the Sunday's race in the Finale Mondiali. And Fabienne did again very well. She started a little bit down the order. She was starting P6, but then managed to recover in the early stages of the race, and then finished second after the winner got disqualified at the end of the race. So Fabienne was crowned vice champion of the 2020 Ferrari Challenge Series. Very exciting for her, and especially as the 2021 series is coming up shortly and starting in Monza in May.
Very exciting weekend. I know it's definitely going to be something really fun to watch, especially throughout 2021. Part of the exciting weekend too, Sonoma Raceway is also the site of the NASCAR Cup Series during the summer. Well, we had GT racing over there and two women racing there, Erin Vogel and Taylor Hagler. Both women racing very well this past weekend. Starting off with Erin, race number 1. Her debut weekend in GT3 weekend started off with a 14th place on the grid. By lap 11, she had already picked up 6 positions. However, she had to make an unscheduled pit stop due to loose seatbelt, placed her back down to 13th place. That didn't stop her though. She continued along with her co-driver to work their way back up into the top 10, come home 7th overall and 5th in class for her GT3 debut race. As for Taylor, worked her way up from the back as well with Erin. The two of them, they were climbing up the field with no serious issues. She continued to climb up to the field of finish in the podium. 3rd place for Taylor in race 1. Race 2, again at Sonoma, Taylor started 6th in the second race weekend. Her and Erin, both of them, they were going to do the second half of the race. Erin started 10th on the grid. For Taylor, overall, really good race for her. She comes home with another podium, especially after some tense battles for that final podium spot with Erin. Erin was right there behind her. Erin comes home 4th place at Sonoma in the second race, and she had a late challenger for 4th place coming down to the line to the checker flag. That was the margin difference between 4th place and 5th place. Great race from both racers at Sonoma Raceway. As I mentioned, this was the first debut weekend for Erin in GT3 competition at Sonoma Raceway. Very exciting to see both of them racing well at Sonoma. Now it's time for some of the upcoming races this next weekend.
Yeah, indeed. We will have an interesting race at the Phoenix Raceway for the ARCA Menards Series, as the ARCA Menards and the ARCA Menards East Series will be reunited for one race. It will be the second round of this season for the top ARCA championship, while it will be the season opener for the ARCA Menards Series East. We will have on track 3 lady races. One is the Gracie Trotter, who of course was very competitive in the opening race in Daytona. We'll also see Bridget Borges, the Australian racer that is trying to make it big in stock cars in the US. And then Tony Breidinger also coming back to the ARCA series. She, of course, made history becoming the first Arab American racing in a NASCAR sanctioned race. So definitely something to look forward to this weekend. And also we'll have the TCR Australia Championship, which is a very interesting championship, of course, sanctioned by the TCR regulations, the most, what I would say, the most popular regulations for touring cars worldwide. It will be the second round of the championship for the series. They will be racing at Phillip Island, of course, the track that is very famous for the MotoGP Australian Grand Prix. We will have Chelsea Angelo on track. Chelsea was scheduled to do the series last year, and she was actually on track in Melbourne when the championship was famously called off, and the whole it was a Formula One support event, and famously the event was called off at the very last minute when the pandemic 1 year now broke out. So definitely looking forward to see finally Chelsea back on track. That had some I think sponsor issues and could not join the championship at the opening round, but hopefully fingers crossed she will be back on track for the whole remaining of the season, and will definitely encourage everyone to also follow Chelsea on her social media profiles.
Encourage everyone to visit the profiles of all the drivers, including QuickGabi as well, who we had at the beginning of the show. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Grid Network. Follow Racers, the girls behind the helmet. Link to their website in the video description. Very exciting upcoming weekend, and definitely we're going to have a lot more product, including Women Racing to Win, every Thursday right here on the Grid Network on YouTube. For Daniel at Racers, the girls behind the helmet, I'm Joe Samaniego. Thank you for watching today. We'll see you next time. Joe Samaniego here. Want to invite you to go check out Poblis. Poblis is a dog clothing and accessory company based in Austria. 10% of each of your purchases goes to helping dogs in need, whether it's homeless, sick, or ill dogs. This is one of the reasons why we support it. Kiska here is a rescue dog from rural Alaska and our Grid office dog. We care about our furry buddies, and we know you do as well. Definitely check out Poblis.com. There's a link on the video description, and by clicking on that link, you get a 10% discount on your purchase as well.